Welcome to the Weeb Lounge. Today we are reviewing probably what is the bestest Berserker there is, period. Yeah, I think that's pretty much a consensus. 5-star Berserker class Arjuna Alter for Fate Grand Order. All right, when this character came onto the scene, at first I wasn't really thinking too much of him, but when I started using him, putting together the skills and everything, and actually getting some good gameplay in with this guy, I realized he hurts. He is so hurty. Owie. Okay, let's just get into the skills. First skill, increases own attack for 3 turns for up to 30%, and increases own damage against enemies that have a debuff on them for 3 turns. Okay, it doesn't, now if you're fighting a boss character, you know how they have like these permanent debuffs and like these other weird things or whatever. Those don't count. It's a debuff that you have to put on them basically, right? So that's a different kind of, that is a different one. So basically, you know, somewhere in your character list, you might have a defense down somewhere. Slap that on there, this qualifies. Get up to 50% more debuff damage. That. It's on my tablet. I bought a tablet. Second skill. Second skill is, it's kind of like his core skill, okay? He gets Noble Phantasm gauge up to 30% if you got this maxed, and Buster Card Star Absorption up to 6,000%. This is where things can start to line up for this guy, because his Buster cards hit pretty good, and then you get these guaranteed crits if you start getting enough stars. You see where this guy's starting to go. Third skill. Third skill is a Guts status 1 time for 3 turns. If that's all it was, I would be like, this skill is garbage. But it has built-in heal. A heal with a Guts status. That's kind of odd, isn't it? At max, you can get 2,000 hit points every turn for 3 turns, total of 6,000 hit points. Okay, so it kind of makes the Guts skill a tad bit better in a way. Because I always kind of argue against skills that are just gut status because you're planning to die. In this one, it's more of a precaution. You're trying to live, and if things go south, you can pop back up. I like the way they did this. The two, if you think about it, just real quick, the two don't go together. But in the terms of Fate Grand Order and how Berserkers get whooped around a lot, this makes perfect sense. So I like it. Noble Phantasm. Noble Phantasm, standard. AoE on all the things, and reduces their buster resistance for 3 turns. Now, it's 20% base up to 60%. This guy might actually be worth overcharging a little bit. You only get another 10% per, but that buster resistance down for 3 turns, it qualifies for all the other characters too, so you can make a chain use of it if you have regular, you know, the buster, his Noble Phantasm's a buster, and you got other characters using their buster cards, or him, okay? Now, if you hit his Noble Phantasm first, along with that other skill for critical star absorption and that buster up, you combine those, throw some other buffs on him. He does an AoE here, and then his next 2 busters just like beat the living hell out of whatever the hell is left, like that Amazon girl thing that I think is in this video. I'm not sure, but it might be. Let's check.
Now, Arjuna is by and large considered to be one of the best offensive Berserker classes, period. He can whoop major ass. Just put it that way. His ability to generate arts, well, you know, he's got 3 buster cards and arts and a quick. He really needs some help to generate it, but, you know, let's do Waver's arts card first, bye-bye quick and his arts card last. See what we can get out of this. He's got 7% right now. See what he ends up with. And he's apparently not going to end up with anything because he's going to kill him. Well, that worked out great. See, this is how hard it is to generate his arts. Oh, man. So, yeah. Generating his arts is basically pain. And when you miscue something like that, it gets even worse. Because I'm fighting some really low-level stuff to show you guys all the things. But at least for his center skill, his middle skill, his second skill, whichever one you want to call it, at least you get 30% out of that if you got the skill maxed. Okay, here, kind of lucked out, I guess. 30, 50, 70. He's got 100% on his final arts. We're going to put that at the end. We want that to crit. So I'm just going to go like stupid on this last guy. Feels bad for that skeleton because he's going to get buried like 5 times over again. That generated plenty of arts, and then a little bit extra on that last attack, even though we didn't do an arts card first. So let's go ahead and mop this up. Now, Arjuna's Noble Phantasm is in itself really good. It hits really hard. Ours, I believe, is Noble Phantasm too. And one of the components of it is that it has a weakness to Buster thing on it or whatever. It's it's Buster resistance down. So it basically means you'll do more damage with their Buster cards, which Arjuna is all about. Now chances are she's going to get, I'm going to try to do this to do as much damage as possible. And yeah, okay, this is, it doesn't matter either way that I do this, everything's going to die miserably. Which is great, but okay, let's go ahead and do attack up too and throw a little bit of crit over here from waivers, goodies. I don't think I have anything over there. Alright, so this is what I'm going to do. Now, with his skills, his base skills, it basically takes his Buster cards and is like, give me all the crit stars. And he got a pretty good chunk of them, not all of them, but chances are what's going to happen here is I'm going to do Buster, and then his Noble Phantasm. Chances are what's going to happen, poor Atalanta here, she is going to rot in those first 2 Buster cards, and then that poor little Amazon girl behind her is just going to get the full brunt of the Noble Phantasm. So, oh, feels bad. Not really. And plus it's a Buster chain to boot. See what kind of damage goes on. Yeah, she dead more times over. And normally this is an AoE attack, so whatever happens here, multiplied by 3. Alright, so about 210,000 damage if you had 3 players, 3 things on the screen. Combine that with the damage he did with those Busters, and I don't even know what it was, I just know it murdered her horribly. He had like a little over 50,000 hit points. The first one crit and did her in, so that's 50,000 right there. The second one did the same, so that's at least a combined 100,000 on top of that Noble Phantasm. Probably a lot more because numbers and math stuff happened. Yeah, he's just deadly. He's just stupid deadly.
All right, as you saw, generating his Noble Phantasm isn't all that hard, even though he has 3 Buster cards in his arsenal, 1 arts, 1 quick. Along with the skill and the fact that they actually have multi-hits and such, it's actually not that hard to get his Noble Phantasm up. He could use a leg up, as many characters could, but he can get there on his own if really needed. Give him a little bit of a leg up, he'll get there quick. Now, in terms of his Noble Phantasm damage, it hurts. It is one of the... I have to argue it's one of the best AoE Berserker class anythings that there is. And you compare that with a lot of 5-star other class characters, this one still kind of takes the cake with a lot. And my only regret is not getting him higher Noble Phantasm level, because it would do just that much more. Do proper debuffs, proper buffs, proper blah blah blah, get the chain, you do the Buster thing with all the crits. He's a monster. You saw it in the video. The guy could be a monster, an absolute monster. Now, in terms of survivability, he's actually pretty decent. I mean, he's got that guts/heal skill that kind of combos or whatever. That, along with any other kind of support that can come in, you can actually take him in with those boss fights and those crazy, challenge quests and such. You can actually take him in there, but do plan to try to make the fight quick, because, he's still a Berserker. He's still going to get hurt bad. But he can outlast a little bit more than your average Berserker. So that kind of works out. So what's the conclusion? What do we say? I say you want him. You definitely want him. He is the #1 top class Berserker for offensive anything that you definitely want in your group. Standard damage economy for in terms of Noble Phantasm card level, 2 to 3 is optimal. And yeah, he is definitely a good part of your group, and he can fit in a lot of groups that you normally probably wouldn't even take a Berserker in. So with that, yes, you do want him. And also, like, subscribe, hit that notification button. Streaming here on YouTube, not so much anyplace else right now because that's what we're trying to do. And we'll see you in the next video.